From MTN News, this is Montana This Morning.
Shots fired in Big Timber, how a man wanted for bomb threats was tracked to Sweetgrass County, and where the investigation stands this morning.
The death in this case was absolutely unnecessary. Absolutely unnecessary.
Sentenced for murder, how long a Billings man will spend in prison after road rage turned deadly, and what he had to say in court.
I'm Jonathan Amberian at the state capitol, where the Montana legislature is still working its way through a huge number of bills intended to tackle either property taxes or income taxes. But that number could soon be getting narrowed down.
Good morning and welcome to Montana This Morning on this Friday, April 4th. Much to come in our newscast today. I'm Augusta McDonnell here with Miller Robson. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday, TGIF.
Happy Friday.
Yep.
We made it.
Yeah, heading into what's going to be a really nice weekend. Coming off a rainy and snowy day yesterday, really as we got into the evening. Let's take a step back in time. Yesterday here in Billings, a high of 49, so a good, 5 degrees below average. But we're going to start to get back to seasonal tomorrow. We're going to be colder today, seasonal tomorrow, and then we're going to be warming up, maybe even some 70s by Monday. Our low of 28, just a few degrees below the norm. Did have some blowing snow issues yesterday evening. We had a top gust of 30 at the airport. In some areas, still seeing some gusty winds, southern Montana, northern parts of Wyoming this morning, so watch out for slick roads and visibility issues. With the rain and the snow combined, almost 2/10 of an inch officially at the airport of moisture. We always use the moisture, could use the moisture. 1.7 inches of snowfall yesterday. So for the month and for the year, in terms of the moisture, we're looking good. Snow totals were now on the plus side for the month and for the season, pacing well ahead. In fact, did you know the Billings Airport has now received 57.7 inches of snow for the season so far. Our seasonal average is 57, almost 57 and a half. So we're just a little bit above that. So we're looking pretty good out there. Still some lingering snow showers in our mountains and our foothills, but that will go away as high pressure takes over, and we got a really nice stretch of weather on the way. Temperature wise, 27 right now at the airport, feels like 22. Winds out of the west at about 5 miles an hour across the area. Temperatures mainly in the 20s. We do have some teens as well. Colder than average today, 30s and 40s, and then a nice warm up across the weekend. We'll take a look at that warm up coming up.
All right, Miller, thanks for tracking all those details. Lots of changes headed our way. And now new this morning, nonprofit Humanities Montana is the latest casualty of federal cuts. Their $1 million grant was terminated Wednesday by the National Endowment for the Humanities. The funding cut goes into effect immediately, and all promised funds to speakers, programs, and more rescinded. Some of the programs this Humanities Montana supports include films, rural museums, speakers, and events. We'll continue to track the fallout from that decision. And this morning, one man is dead after an officer-involved shooting involving 2 Montana Highway Patrol troopers in Big Timber. According to MHP, the situation began when troopers were alerted yesterday that a suspect from Nebraska wanted for threatening to use explosives or place bombs had entered Montana. The suspect's vehicle was found around 2:45 Thursday afternoon. Troopers say they attempted to initiate a traffic stop and the man fled. Eventually, a pit maneuver was used to stop the vehicle. That was unsuccessful, and the suspect began to fire shots shortly after. 2 troopers returned fire, killing the suspect. MHP says the entire incident lasted around 3 minutes. No law enforcement were injured. Troopers have been placed on administrative leave per standard company policy.
We overheard here in our office at the Laurel Way Station that they noticed him there. And so my agency got involved. Highway Patrol was involved, Stillwater County, Park County on either side. We were all kind of looking for him, that he was in this area.
The Montana Division of Criminal Investigation will be the lead agency on this case. And in the courtroom, 70 years in prison. That's the sentence for 31-year-old Jacob Troxel after a shooting in August of 2022 when road rage turned to murder. 29-year-old Michael Duran lost his life in that crime. Our Haley Monaco was at the courthouse as that decision was handed down, wrapping up 2.5 years since it happened.
This is where it happened. Jacob Troxel shot Michael Duran 8 times. The shocking footage was all captured here on our MTN studio security cameras. On Thursday, during the sentencing, Troxel apologized to Duran's family.
He was wild and free and so curious.
Before the sentencing was handed down by Yellowstone County Judge Jessica Fair.
He was just proud of his life at this point in time. He was just proud, and You took that from him, Jacob Troxel. You took his life.
Powerful impact statements were heard from Duran's family and friends, highlighting his carefree, kind personality.
He was silly and funny and intelligent and kind and a gentleman, genuinely.
And how broken they have all felt since his death on August 20th, 2022. During this, Troxel remained still.
My heart breaks for Michael Duran's family.
But Troxel shed tears when it was his family and friends' turn to share their statements.
He really is just a big, gentle giant. I would ask for mercy to give Jacob a chance to fill his role as a father, a son, and a husband.
And Troxel shared his remorse.
I am truly sorry for the events that day.
Through a tearful apology.
To Michael's mother, nobody should ever have to bury their son. It's not fair.
The prosecution recommended 85 years in prison, while Troxel's defense asked for a sentence of 30 years with 18 suspended.
I'm ready to face sentencing.
Ultimately, Judge Fair decided on a sentence between the two.
The death in this case was absolutely unnecessary. Deliberate homicide means that Mr. Duran will never be 30. He will never have children.
60 years with an additional 10 for weapons enhancement, with none suspended.
I tell my kids not to make eye contact with people in the car. And part of that was from this case. It's changed the way we live. It's changed the way we live in our community.
And left the courtroom with an impactful message to live with kindness and love for all.
And I would just encourage everyone to leave today doing what Michael would have wanted you to do.
In Billings, Haley Monaco, MTN News.
Haley, thanks so much. And at the legislature this morning, a bill to allow unlimited hunting of wolves in Montana failed in a vote at the state Senate. Had it passed, wolves would be targeted anytime the population exceeds 550 in the state. 5 Republicans sided with Democrats to defeat the measure. Opponents saying killing too many wolves might endanger state control of wolf management and threaten control of grizzly bear management. Senate Minority Leader Pat Flowers of Belgrade said managing wolves is better handled by Fish, Wildlife and Parks than by lawmakers. This something echoed by a former Yellowstone wolf biologist.
Montana has a history of that. They have a respected, scientifically based wildlife management program. They should be allowed to do what they do best. Instead, now you have legislatures tying their hands, threatening bills or passing bills that take that knowledge away from wildlife biologists on the ground who know the most about wildlife management. And that's what's happening now for no good reason.
Those in favor argue the legislation would protect livestock. 2 other wolf bills passed the Senate, one extending hunting season with the other allowing hunters to use night scopes. And this morning, the Montana legislature is fast approaching another deadline, and there's a lot of movement this week on bills seeking to offer property or income tax relief. MTN's Jonathan Ambarian has the latest on where these bills stand and what they would mean for Montana.
As the legislative session approaches its 2/3 mark, all bills that affect state revenues need to pass through either the House or Senate by the end of the day on Saturday. That means the huge number of bills tackling Montana's property taxes and income taxes could soon be getting narrowed down.
We're down to a matter of choices now. That's where we're at in the session.
On Wednesday, the Senate Taxation Committee voted down 2 of Governor Greg Gianforte's priority tax proposals. House Bill 231, the homestead property tax reduction for primary residences, long-term rentals, and small businesses, and House Bill 323, the proposal to reduce Montana's top income tax rate by up to 1 percentage point. At a news conference Thursday, Gianforte said he was disappointed in the vote and remained convinced these were the best tax relief options for the state.
Montanans expect us to pass permanent property tax relief. And because we already have the highest income tax rate in the region, we can't lower property taxes by further burdening income taxpayers. So those are the boundaries on the box that I'm willing to negotiate with the legislature.
Earlier this week, the Senate endorsed SB 203, which would expand the lower income tax bracket instead of lowering the top rate. A committee then tabled the bill, but it was revived and passed a final vote in the Senate on Thursday. The Senate also advanced SB 546 on Thursday, which would create income tax credits, an option more targeted to those with lower incomes.
You know, I think both, if you move both forward, we can do some sort of hybrid. We can kind of massage these numbers, see what some of the weaknesses are.
Meanwhile, a House committee has endorsed another option on property taxes, HB 528, which would lower tax rates on residential, commercial, and agricultural properties. Republican Representative Ed Burns sponsored the bill and says he knows it would only be part of whatever final arrangement the legislature reaches on taxes.
So they could use mine as the base, or they can just take pieces and put in others. What we want is the maximum, without caring who gets the credit for it, we want the maximum property tax relief.
The governor said Thursday that nothing is really over until the session is over, and there's likely to be a lot more back and forth before we get the final picture of what tax relief the legislature is going to put forward. In Helena, Jonathan Amberian, MTN News.
Jonathan, thanks so much. And Thursday was a big day for Billings Public Schools as the annual Golden Apple Awards were given out to the district's top educators. For 40 years running, the awards honor teachers for their dedication to students in the classroom. 7 educators were recognized as winners this year, with 2 of them having served the district for more than 3 decades.
Oh my gosh, I couldn't believe it. Do you know what I'm saying? Because I just have never expected this. I would never dream. You know what I'm saying? I just come in and do my job, and I want to be here for the kids.
I was just completely surprised and shocked. It's just so humbling to think that people would recognize me for this honor. It's just a privilege.
Winners were selected from around 1,200 registered teachers.